What's going on, everybody? Great to have you back. Thanks for joining. If you saw the title of the video, you know that my friends at Cortazu sent me another product to review. Now, just to be clear and upfront, they send me the products, but no money exchanges hands, and they don't get any say in kind of what I review. But it came yesterday, and today it's 38 degrees currently outside. So it's kind of the first big temperature drop of the season. And we got a couple of things that we have to do outside today. I've got to obviously take the dogs for their walk and then fix a garage door where the extension springs broke. And since it's nice and cold, it'll be a great time to test it. So this is the Mountain Insulated jacket with the hood from Cortazu. It's a synthetic insulation, so it's an alternative to down. And let's give it a go. All right, boys. Ready? Ready? Hey. Come here. So if this thing's actually as good as a down jacket, I should be a sweaty mess by the time I get done with this, even though it's so cold. One thing that I really like about this already, the pockets, unlike so many down jackets or synthetic jackets, they've got this nice soft touch liner inside. It feels like the thing that you usually have on ski jackets to keep your nose from feeling cold. We wanted to get that out of the way to make it easier to work, and obviously so if I mess up a spring, it doesn't break anything. Well, before any job, gotta have a good hit of caffeine, right? That's good. Now, we got these zip ties to remove, and my knives are upstairs, so I'm being lazy, but here's a fun fact. If you take zip ties and you pinch them with a pair of pliers, you can take and undo them. And you can actually reuse zip ties by doing that, because all it does is take the things that clamp into the zip and open them up, and then they squish back down. So if you get tired of wasting zip ties, or if you just don't have a knife but you got a pair of pliers, it's a good tool. Good trick. Also, I really like that this jacket has a zip pocket right in here for my cell phone or whatever. Okay, so I got the new spring on, and we've run this cable in here, but now I've got to undo this flywheel to kind of finish everything off, and then we just got to repeat it on the other side, because I can't really have a new spring on one side and then an old spring on the other, since this is extension springs and not a torsion spring like the other garage door. But I can say without a shadow of a doubt that this thing keeps you warm. This jacket is every bit as warm as my down jacket. So warmth wise, I'm very impressed with the synthetic stuff. I usually prefer to go down instead of synthetic, but this is the Surana fabric, and it's made with recycled and natural materials mixed together. And that is kind of awesome, because my whole aversion to synthetic insulations was the fact that most of them are just more plastics. And the fact that they're using recycled materials keeps that from adding to the problem, which is fantastic. But absolutely will keep you warm. No doubt about that. I'm probably going to take it off now because I've gotten so hot doing this already that I think I'll be good in just a t-shirt for the next little bit. And then we'll let me finish this up and we'll get into all the details about it, because it does really have a lot of cool features. And I'll compare it to like my Arc'teryx down jacket and kind of see how it stacks up. Oh, that took 2 hours for me to do one side, but I think we have it. Let's give it a try. Heck yeah, we did it. Now I just got to do it for the other side, but now that I've figured it out, it should be a lot quicker. And again, yes, this thing is quite warm. So if you were worried about warmth with the Cortazu mountain insulated jacket, don't worry about it. Okay. Like I said, 2 hours for the one, and then you just saw the other one. It's amazing what a little knowledge can do. But now we're set on doing this. Awesome. And this thing has been really robust. I have hung it up on all kinds of pieces of metal here, and if it can handle that, it can handle the brush. All right, so thanks for coming with me while I did my chores. Let's get into the details of this Cortazu mountain jacket. And this is the mountain jacket with the hood, which I always prefer because a lot of people will get jackets without the hood, but I'm like, why? Like, if you don't want it, you just put it down and you have it when you need it, and hoods are great. And this one is a great shape. It's meant to go under a helmet or something, so it snugs your face really tightly and it gives you a lot of visibility, but that also means that there's also a lot of wind that will come in front of your face. So just keep that in mind. Anytime you increase visibility in a hood, you decrease wind protection. So that's kind of what that's about. Let me zip it up real quick to show you. Even though you have that sort of slightly decreased wind protection, when you're fully zipped up, it's tight and just leaves open just your eyes and a little bit of your nose, but you can even get rid of that. It's a very tight fitting hood to keep you nice and warm. The insulation is right next to you. And within that, they also have a very nice little piece here to keep your nose from rubbing and to keep it nice and warm and keep it from just being irritated in the cold. You see that a lot in ski jackets, less so in mid layers. So it's really nice to see. And this is obviously a jacket that is considered a mid layer, but you can absolutely wear it on your own. If it's not super rainy or super cold, you don't necessarily need that shell over it, but you can always layer a shell over it if you need a little extra protection. You have an awesome stretchy pocket here that you could use for gloves or a water bottle. I know I like to keep a water bottle close to me, and an open pocket like this, even though it's probably intended for gloves for most people, I like to put my water bottle there and then zip back up, and that way the water stays right next to me when it's cold out. And like I said earlier, the inside of the pockets are awesome. They come with this sort of felted interior, which is a great upgrade because this jacket is something that I would consider, at least in my experience, because I have both of them. I have the Cerium and the Agrium from like Arc'teryx, and this is very compatible with those jackets. and you don't get that kind of nice extra soft interior pocket with those. And it's a really nice touch. Another thing that seems to always come up with Cortazu stuff, if you saw my shell jacket review, they have pockets galore, which is fantastic for someone like me. Like, again, compared to jackets from other brands in kind of the same category, this thing has a lot more pockets. I mean, we have an external zip pocket here. Then we have the stretchy pocket that I mentioned. Then we have an internal zip pocket. And then you also have the 2 hand warmer pockets that are all zip up and easily secured. Whereas on like another jacket, you might have 3 pockets. Like you might have 2 hand warmer pockets and then an interior zip pocket that's also a stuff sack. Now, speaking of stuff sacks, on so many other jackets like this one here, the stuff sack is just inside the internal zip pocket, which is fine, but it just sits loose in there. The Cortazu jacket has one of the nicest stuff sacks I've ever seen, like design-wise. Because if you come here to your internal pocket, then you just pull out the lining of the pocket and you start stuffing it down. And it's a nice little pillow shape. So then you can lay on it, relax, whatever you need. Really nice design. Now, a downside to synthetic insulation is it packs down okay, but it's never gonna pack down quite as good as down here. So it's just kind of something to be aware of. It's not a huge difference, but if you're an ultralight person, you should be aware of that. You have all of the standard features that you would think you should have. There is a hood pull tab to tighten it up even further. Then there's also waist pull tabs here for you to tighten things up and keep the breeze from blowing. And they smartly, like their competitors, made the seam go down slightly in the back so that when you bend over, you don't get that cold blast of air up your back, which is obviously something you really want to avoid in a cold weather situation. The pull tabs on this are also really nice. They're similar to like what a lot of companies will use for their rain shells. So like Arc'teryx will use these rubberized tabs, and I like these because they are easy to grab and find when you're wearing gloves. Now, if you're not wearing gloves, it doesn't matter, and it adds a little more weight. So you may be like, ugh. But if you are wearing gloves, which you probably should be if it's cold, a lot easier to grab than like one of these little fabric pieces. Just a very thoughtful design. Now, like I said, this is synthetic insulation, and it's Sorana insulation, which is bio-based and renewable. It makes things light and warm, and you're not using down feathers, which some people are really against, and I understand. There's also a PFC-free DWR coating on the external fabric, so it will hold up to kind of light weather situations, but just like any insulated jacket like this, you're not gonna want it in really, really wet situations. You're gonna wanna have a shell to layer over it in those cases. And you know, at the end of the day, this is a really great jacket, especially at the price point that it's at. It easily compares with the Agrium like this here, or the Cerium like I have upstairs, and they're $400 jackets, and this one's only a $200 jacket. So if you're against down, or if you want to save money, or if you just want some cool features that those don't have, this seems like a great solution. Like, my initial tests on it have been very pleasant. I like the little details, like obviously things that you would expect, like stretchy cuffs, but then things that you don't expect, like the really nice soft touch interiors on the hand warmer pockets. Lots of cool stuff there. And I think that's how smaller companies stand out, is by adding those features, and Cortazu seems to do it really well. Plus, they're a certified B Corp, and they have that whole Regreening in Africa project that they're doing with all the sales of their stuff. So it seems like a super cool company, so give them a shot if you're looking for something a little different from your everyday stuff. If you have any more questions, please let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you out there. Bye.